3, 2, 1. Welcome to the other half of it, the podcast where we reveal what it's really like living as a creative couple in Korea, where we discuss the behind the scenes of our work, our lifestyle, and what keeps us motivated to keep on creating. I am your host, Cedric Skycedi.
And I'm the other half of it, Becky.
Well, we're super excited about today's topic because we're going to be talking about our relationship.
Dun, dun, dun.
So the topic of today is 2 years together as an interracial couple, the things we've learned about each other and ourselves. Becky and I have been officially dating since April 15th, 2019. So it's been a little over 2 years. How has it been for you, babe?
Aw, you called me babe.
I did.
You called me Becky before, which made me feel a little weird.
Really? Yeah, that's the thing that we joke about is it's really weird when we call each other our names because we never call each other by our names to each other.
Never.
Yeah, so when I say Becky, it's really weird.
It's so strange.
Like I never call her Becky.
No.
Yeah.
You don't.
So yeah, I will just get comfortable in front of everyone and just call you babe.
Well, it's kind of a big question. Like, what have you learned about each other and yourself in 2 years?
Yeah.
In what? What do you mean?
So
Like specifically through this relationship or just over the years that we've happened to be together?
I just think specifically with our relationship, what are some of the things that you learned just by being in the relationship with me? And you can, of course, talk about the cultural aspect because we have a shared culture, but we also have different cultural experiences with the other half of who we are. You know, it's funny. We just got a comment on YouTube just recently on one of our recent videos, and I want to pull it up. But basically, the comment was something along the lines of, let me see if I could find it. Yeah, it says, so someone asked us, how are we an interracial couple?
Yeah.
Aren't we both Korean? And do we identify with being more Korean than black and white? And yeah, so yes, we do identify with each other. And I think that is the common ground that bonds us together, at least initially for sure, was the fact that we're both Korean, but we come from two different worlds and experiences. Yeah. So that does come into play when we say we're an interracial couple. And I mean, you can't like really blanket statement that like all interracial couples are the same. They're from totally opposite cultures and they have nothing in common. Like every interracial couple is different, but we've learned a lot of valuable lessons as an interracial couple as well. But can you think of anything that you would say that you learned, like some key lessons or things that you learned about yourself being in a relationship with me for the past 2 years?
I have learned that I'm terrible with finances.
Wow, yes, that is. I don't want to say that's true. You're bad with numbers.
I'm bad with numbers.
I'll say that.
But I already knew that. I didn't learn that through your relationship.
So
I was fully aware that I was bad with numbers.
Right.
But it's just like I get panicked. You know?
With numbers or finances?
With numbers. And finances go hand in hand with numbers. Right?
Yeah, in many ways.
Yes, it's like my mind just blanks out when I see like a digit higher than 5 digits.
She is not kidding you guys because at first I thought, there's
thought
no
I was
way.
joking.
Yeah, there's no way she's this bad, but she is bad.
It comes from trauma.
Yeah? What
Yeah.
kind of trauma?
So I had a math class in high school. And if any of my friends in high school are watching this, I'm sure a number of you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I remember we had these weekly math things, like algebra worksheets, and it was supposed to just be honing your skills, so you don't lose those basic mathematical equations and things you should know off the top of your head. It's like one train is going to Madagascar and one is going to Boston, and they're both traveling east and north at 70 miles per hour divided by 3. When are they going to arrive in Timbuktu? It's like questions like that.
Right.
And I just couldn't keep track of it. And I got a C, or I failed the worksheet every single week because I couldn't remember the equation for velocity.
I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't do well on those either back when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Because they put a story behind the formulas, and I'm not good with like tracking stories.
You're trying to make me feel better. It's not
I'm
about the
being so
story.
honest.
It's about the numbers. It's like Matthew has 12 apples and Linda has 3 bananas. How many key lime pies can they make
Right.
by midnight? And I don't know, a freeze.
So you were just traumatized.
I'm traumatized by that. Yeah. And one day I decided to ask my teacher for help. And I went to her classroom and she said, visit me at 3 o'clock and I'll help you after school. I said, yes, okay, I'm finally gonna get help. I came after at 3 o'clock and she's like, no, I'm too busy. And then I failed my worksheet that week too.
Oh no.
So I'm traumatized.
I see. I didn't know that about you. So I guess that trickles into you being
Finances.
Well, finances. The thing is, yes, finances is about numbers, but that's only one part of the equation. I think finances is also
Don't say equation. Oh.
well, finances also has like more like practical lifestyle meaning
Yes.
outside of just numbers.
Yeah.
But yeah, so okay, so finances. What did you like realize? Like, what does it mean that you're bad at finances?
Well, I always thought if I work hard, I'll make money. One day, money will always come because I have the ability to make money. This was like the mindset I had about finances. So it's like, oh, this week I only have 12,000 won in my account. That's okay. I work hard and tomorrow I'll make 300,000 won and then I'll have 312,000 won in my account.
Right.
So for me, it was like, oh, money is something that I can just, it will come.
Right.
But what you taught me as I was watching you and how you budget and the way you view money is that it's not just some material thing that I have to dig up or create, but money can actually multiply itself used wisely. And these are the things I never thought about it because I was like, I'm going to be famous or marry a prince.
Right.
You know?
That was your retirement plan.
That was my retirement plan. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So I learned
Yes.
about finances.
Right. And it wasn't that I was trying to teach you. I mean, at
No.
a certain point, a couple of months ago, we decided to just combine our finances. And I know,
I've never been richer.
well, I know a lot of people, they advise against that. Even people who are married.
Wow, it's so weird to me.
They say that, it's better to keep your finances separate, or some people decide that or choose to keep theirs separate. And that's fine as long as it works for them. But for us, even before we get married, like we wanted to make sure we just learn how to deal with money together first.
I think for me, that's become more apparent. Money is not a point of contention whatsoever in my mind and with friends and family. So it's kind of like I have no, I guess, emotional attachment to money. So I don't see why it should cause a fighting or drama or difficulty. But then again, it's not like I ever had so much money to fight over.
Sure.
So yeah, so that's why it's been for you and me, like I've learned a whole lot more about finances and money, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. This could be a good part of my life.
Wow. I didn't expect you to say that, but
Yeah.
I guess that is,
The cold hard truth.
yeah. Okay. So that is one thing that you learned. Well, what about me?
What have you learned? What have you learned about women? What is it that you didn't know about your sensitive soul until you met me and bared yourself emotionally?
I didn't know what it meant to speak to someone's emotions.
Oh, yes.
So this is Becky's thing, where she talks about like if we're like I've learned that sometimes I can be very insensitive.
That's not true. You're super sensitive.
I am sensitive in many ways, but I could be insensitive towards like what you need in a moment.
That's not insensitivity.
Uh-huh.
That's just not being aware, or
Right.
you don't know what it is.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's true.
You are sensitive. You're too sensitive in that regard.
Right. So like if, for example, like if Becky is maybe having a bad day and and like she's maybe a little irritable and she snaps or something, like for me, I didn't know how to handle that. So like I would just sort of get frustrated back. Right. But I don't know. But I think after a while, like, and we're like just frustrated with each other, she's like, you need to speak to my emotions. Why are you upset with me or frustrated with me? Speak to my emotions. And I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And I think, I still don't 100% like know, but I think that means I need to be sensitive to your feelings. And it's not about what you're like expressing on the outside, like you're expressing frustration or sadness or something. It's about just saying, hey, no matter how you feel, I'm with you. I support you. I care about you. I love you no matter what. Something like that, right?
I'm going to share a couple of magical phrases that is going to save you many fights, listener. Say I'm upset. Your partner's upset. You know what the magic words are? I'm so sorry that happened to you. That must have been tough. How did that make you feel? Oh, I'm here for you. That's it. That's all you need to say, because you will say to me, oh, I'm sorry you're upset. What happened? Then I say, duck, 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 and I might snap and nibble and, poke. And then you say, I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm like, I know. And then I express this, comes pouring out of me, and you say, wow, that must have been tough. I'm like, it was really tough. And then you're like, do you feel better? I'm here for you. I'm like, yeah, thanks for listening. You made me feel better. That's it. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Remember those phrases.
See, she didn't like give me a cheat sheet before when we first
because
started
it
dating,
feels so apparent.
No, like I mean, honestly, and this doesn't apply to everyone, but I think a lot of times guys and girls, men and women, can sometimes view relationships and problems differently than, the opposite sex. So yeah, at least in our relationship, it's been that way. But yeah, I am learning. Do you think I'm getting better at it?
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Yeah. Like at first, because I was like very confused. I was legit. It was so like, what is she talking about?
Speak to my emotions, man. Speak to them.
So all the ladies that are listening, let us know if you can
Someone
relate.
out there is snapping her fingers. Yes.
Sure. Okay. So that's one of the things that I've learned in the 2 years. Or I am learning, I should say.
You know what else I've learned? I've learned that you care a lot about your hair.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I didn't know that you had to do so much to take care of your hair. That is something I've learned.
Oh, yeah. I think it's because, like, I don't know, it took me years to sort of find my groove. And you know what? There's a lot of haters out there that be hating on my hair and on my curls, but I don't care.
Who?
There's just a lot of people
Who
that's
hates
like,
on his curls?
he needs a haircut, or, he needs to do something with his head.
I think they were talking
Those comments
about
literally do not bother me.
your top knot days.
No, they're talking about like even right now.
Who?
I mean, because like I have somewhat of a unique way to style my hair.
Yes, and I love it.
And I like it too. But yeah, I mean, growing up as like a half black, half Korean kid with different texture, I didn't have anyone with like similar texture hair around me. Even some of the other like half Koreans and black Koreans, we can have similar texture hair, but it's all just different. It's kind of like a lottery.
Yeah, right.
So it took me just years to figure it out. And as a high schooler, I would just try different ways to like style my hair. I would try like to just wear a do-rag and use some pomade or some grease and comb my hair. And I would always wonder, and this is when my hair was short, I was always wondering like, why can't I get waves like my homeboy, And so I went through that, and then I went through like, maybe if I do deep conditioning, I can loosen the curls. And so, yeah, I just went through just different seasons of trying to figure out what to do with my hair. And, I just sort of wore it like short and curly for a couple years. I mean, I would change it up, but it would just generally be that. And then when I moved to New Jersey in my late 20s, I just like totally... I don't know. You hate it, but like I wore my hair a little straighter and down.
Yeah, I don't know why you did that.
Yeah. So yeah.
I like the curls.
I just wanted to switch it up. So anyways, yeah. So that is the backstory that nobody cared about why I care about my hair so much.
Well, here's the thing that I learned is that because my hair is straight, no matter what I do with it, no matter if I'm like, stop being straight and try everything, it will obstinately remain this way. And it's been terrible, and I hate that. However, you grow to learn to love your own hair. But the thing about your hair is very interesting to me, and also I realized like, wow, you put a lot of work into it. You really care about it and hairstyling, because this is something I just didn't have the, I guess, honor to do with my straight, boring hair. But it has opened up doors for me to learn about natural hair care, which for me has been really fascinating. So that is something, even though it's sort of like pinging off of you into something else, it is directly related to our relationship. And so now I'm very interested in natural hair care, and I follow YouTube channels that are showing how to take care of natural hair, and it's like, this is a whole new world and I love it.
Yeah,
so this is new.
I think that's great because there's, you know, especially when we're when we're talking about like black hair care, that's just an area that if you're not black or you don't have that kind of texture, and you know, there are also like other ethnicities here and there that will have black texture hair, but generally speaking, black hair, it's really a whole new world. And I think it's great that someone like yourself just wants to learn more, because there's such a like misunderstanding about black hair, and just it's a big part of who black people are, I think. And so I think it's commendable that you would want to learn more. Yeah, because a lot of people are very ignorant in a sense of they just don't know. And they might say stupid things to black people.
Right.
Yeah, about hair and things like that. So I think that's cool.
Yeah, it's just another avenue of things to learn about. So it's cool because it never piqued my curiosity before. But now that it has, I realized there is so much to look into, and that's been fascinating.
Man, I feel like yours
coming from different angles.
Yeah, I'm just being very generic.
Okay, what else? Lay it on me.
Man, I learned that there are lots of baggage that I have that came out in our relationship that I didn't realize was still there. And what I mean by baggage is like maybe old situations or old feelings that I used to have in response to situations growing up in my teenage years and my 20s as well, that I thought I moved past, you know? Because I, in a sense I did, because I never had to really deal with it. I like moved to a different state, to New Jersey, and then I eventually moved here to Korea. I didn't have to really confront it. And then like being in a serious relationship with you, because prior to you, I hadn't dated for years, like been in a serious relationship, that is. And I think the closer we got, because we got close really fast, I realized I still have a lot of those things. So I learned, at least about me, that there are a lot of, I don't know how you would categorize it, like maybe insecurities that I have, or kind of like traumas from previous situations, me growing up the way I did. And a lot of it came from just how I chose to live growing up, like in the church, for example, things like that still have a weight on me. And these are things that we can talk about like in a future episode, because it's the other half of it. It's stuff that I never really talk about. But yeah, those are the baggages that I realize that I've had. And it comes out, especially when we're having like maybe an argument or something like that. And I don't know, I have those things that I guess I would benefit for having a counselor like with those things. But yeah, so I learned that.
This is so interesting. It's like everyone sees the Ferrari that he is, and then when we get in a car accident, I'm like, oh no, the Ferrari. And then you're like, hang on. You open the trunk and there's a 50-kilo luggage back there. And that's all the baggage that you're pulling out. And I'm like, I didn't know this was in the Ferrari. But we're unloading it little by little. And now it's just like little lunch boxes.
Right. So it's been a journey, because the thing is, and I'll tag this on, the other thing I had to learn is I had to learn how to trust you. And I don't mean like trust you like, oh, if you know my password or something like that, which
I do.
Yes, you did find out what my password is.
That was cute.
But beyond that, it's just like trusting that ultimately you're not out, like you're on my side. You're not out to hurt me, and you're not judging me for like the things that I think or feel or my past experiences. And that was like really tough. to be able to be that, I guess the word is vulnerable, and be okay with it, knowing that you don't judge me, and knowing that you're there to support me. So I one-upped you there. I got real deep.
Okay, all right. Gosh, now I really gotta think hard about this one. What did I learn from our relationship? This is hard now. Now I'm really trying to think what else. Because I feel like there's so many things that at this point now just feels, oh, it's plain, apparent. Gosh, what was it? Here it is. This is one that I have learned through the relationship, that I can stand on my own feet. Actually, you know what? I knew that before we got in a relationship. But I guess what happened was you gave me validation to be like fully just me in whatever circumstance.
Right.
And it's going to sound really, really silly, but I think actually there's a lot of girls who have faced this if they've been in relationships where there's a certain level of control. For example, I'm totally confident and happy, like, no, this is my body, this is what I look like, and this is what I look like when I wear certain things. But going out in public and you're present and having you say to me, you can wear that, I don't care. You wear whatever you want to wear, it's your body. That to me was very novel because I never heard that from a guy. So that was really like, oh, okay. So rather than getting permission, it was like validation. Through your validation, I learned that I can, whatever, okay, I can wear what I want. And you're not going to have a sense of jealousy or insecurity.
Right.
That was very nice.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't want to be a controlling person. And, I'm not going to lie, in my past, and again, this is a whole nother door that we can open later on, but like, I think I leaned more towards having that bent of, because my personality, I want to be in control, right? But I learned through my past mistakes that you can't control people, and you shouldn't control people, and that's not really an expression of love. If you love a friend, or if you love a significant other, to control them is not an expression of love, even if you want the best for them.
That's not an expression of respect either.
Right. Yeah, and because of my conservative upbringing, and if I met someone who didn't have that same upbringing or perspective, there was always like a need to want to, I guess, kind of control or tame that. Ooh, maybe you shouldn't wear that, or what's people gonna think? I'm telling you, that's one of my like heavy baggages that I think that was one of the baggages I got rid of a long time ago, because I saw the damage that it did. So I don't want to be like that anymore. I don't think I'm that type of person, and I just want you to be you.
It's very freeing.
Yeah, I just want you wear what you wear, girl.
That's right. When I go to the grocery store and I want to wear a tankini in public, you'll let me.
Yeah.
There's still a line, isn't there?
There's a little line, but like ultimately, I know I can't control you, and I don't want to try to control you.
That's right. And I want to wear patched up overalls to Obama's birthday party. I will, and you'll love it.
I would allow you to wear whatever you want. I wouldn't necessarily love it. Yeah. I don't have to love everything you do.
That's true. But you'll respect it.
I'll let you do it. Yeah, I think that is important.
I wouldn't do that. I respect Obamas. I put an S on the end because I realize it's Mr. and Mrs. Obama. I respect the Obamas.
Right. Me too. I watched the documentary on Netflix on Michelle Obama. It was really good, by the way.
She's so cool.
Shout out, yeah. I almost like want to respect her more than.
Shout out to Michelle Obama, who's our avid fan of this podcast.
Yeah. So I think, oh man, there's a lot of lessons that I'm sure we could like talk ages and ages about, but overall, I am still learning that it's okay to not be perfect. So I'll let that be like the last thing I'll say for right now is I understand that it's okay to not be perfect, even to you. Like, because I want to present myself with excellence. I've always been an overachiever. And that is something that I think me and my little sister, we have in common is we want to do everything with excellence and we want to be the best at what we do. And that's why she is quite successful in what she's doing. And she's, become a doctor and has performed always at the top of her class in med schools and things like that. I'm the same way, but not in like those kind of academics. It's and even in my relationships, I want things to be perfect. And so when they're not perfect, it stresses me out. Or if I know that you see a side of me that I'm like, oh, I didn't want her to see that. I don't want her to know that. Then normally it would just be like, oh man, she's gonna look down on me, or like she's gonna look at me differently. But you don't, right?
No, why would I?
I don't know.
Because I'm the one who's causing most of the problems here.
No.
Yeah.
I disagree with that. I think
I'm the one who wears tankinis when we go grocery shopping.
But I'm okay with that.
I think I'm the one causing the problem here. By the way, disclaimer, I don't do that.
Yeah, so I think me learning that it's okay to not be perfect and to make mistakes, but to own them and to just give myself the space to grow in front of you. I think that's something that I've learned. It's okay. Yeah.
That's right. We're going to take all the luggages out of the Ferrari, then we're going to scrub it down and go for a nice long drive called life.
I'm not going to top that. That was beautifully put, for sure. But yeah, I think we've learned a lot. And the cool thing is, maybe in a year, maybe in 3 years, when we hit our 5-year anniversary mark of being together, we could revisit that on the podcast and see what has transpired and changed over time with us.
Maybe by then we will have dined with the Obamas and we'll look back and be like, oh, we were so innocent back then.
Of course. I believe it. Okay, so now it's time for the quick question. Today's quick question is from This Heart of Mine, and she asks, is there anything that scares you about marriage?
Anything that scares you about marriage?
We are engaged, by the way, if you didn't know.
Are we?
Yes.
We are. Okay. I think, it scares me about marriage. Ooh, this is hard. Because it doesn't really have anything to do with you. I think prior to meeting you, I would say the thing that scared me most about marriage was losing autonomy. I would always think, oh, once you get married, that's it. Life is over. I really, really thought that. So all the things I'd worked up for, my career, my youth, my ability to go out and do whatever I want, I was very, very afraid that once you get married, like, you just give that all up. That was my concept of marriage. And just hope and pray that once you tie the knot, life will be better in a different way. That was what I thought.
Right.
So that was prior to meeting you. I think though, in this now time of phase of our relationship, the thing that still scares me, but it's more like a distant fear, echoing down the hills of my past, is the idea that once you get married, that's it, right? That's the person. And you choose to be with that person. And I sometimes think, oh my gosh, what if one day I'm out in public and I meet the one and it's not you, and I meet him and then he sweeps me off my feet, and then I'm like, oh no, what do I do? Which obviously I would have to turn him down, but it's kind of like, it's a very silly fear, right? Because it doesn't matter. Ultimately, you choose to be with the person that you are with. It is a choice. That is the most important and significant thing to remember in a relationship. But sometimes I wonder, is there someone out there who might just totally bamboozle my mind and then confuse me so much? Because I read about it in books where people be like, oh, in relationships, I don't think that person out there exists. Because again, I believe it's a choice. But that might be the only fear, but that's more like the fear of not knowing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. So is there a chance that...
You're making funny faces.
No, is there a chance that you think someone could sweep you off your feet?
I think it is possible that somebody could try to sweep me off my feet, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Right.
They might
Yeah.
sweep me.
I just know.
And then I'll fall over and I'll be like, who do you think you are?
I just got to keep my game strong, man.
Yeah, actually, that's a very good point. Because I think if you become complacent in a relationship, and this goes for friendships too, and family, you're complacent, it's like, whatever, you're always going to be there anyway.
Right.
Then that's like, it's a resentment that builds up. If you care about a person, then you should put even more extra effort into maintaining the health of that relationship.
Yeah, that I do believe.
Yeah. And that is why I'm going to start working out.
I work out all the time, but I feel like I still I'm far from where I want to be.
You
but
are
I work out
great.
for you.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's a I don't know if you ever shared that with me. You might have in different ways, but I guess my number one fear in marriage with you, or if it was anyone, I think, has a lot to do with, I guess, the opposite side of your fear, and that is the fear of getting cheated on.
But you don't need to have that fear with me.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't. But that would be the one thing that would scare me about marriage. Like, I don't have any concern. Like, I have zero concern with you.
Yeah.
But the fact that it is always a possibility for that to happen, that's what scares me. I don't think you're gonna do it, if that makes sense. I just the idea when I think about marriage, and the one thing I don't want to happen, the biggest thing that scares me is just getting cheated on. Or having some sort of like, it doesn't even have to be like, you know, you got swept off your feet by a Prince Charming and had a one night stand or anything like that. It could be like just like this emotional, you know, type of relationship where you are giving what you're supposed to give to me. I know that sounds selfish. I don't mean it in a selfish way, but something that should be reserved for me, you're giving that to somebody else, right? So like, that's, I guess, what scares me about marriage.
That's like an existential crisis.
Yeah, but when it comes to me and you, I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of that happening. I guess to give a more practical answer with where we are.
Something in the context of our relationship.
Yeah, I think I would.
You're afraid that I would use up too much money because I'm bad at budgeting?
No, I'm not even afraid of that. You know, I'm more afraid of we get like tired of each other.
Aww.
And we're like, you know, we're complacent in our relationship. We're like, just like you said, we always know we're gonna be there. And
yeah, when you start introducing me to people, instead of saying, "Oh, this is Becky," you say, "The all ball and chain."
yeah, essentially, yeah. So that would be my one fear, but we're not gonna let that happen.
That's
right?
never gonna happen.
It's never gonna happen. So we're gonna make sure that we keep the fire alive. It's gonna be hard, I know, but I think it's a fun challenge, or it should be. Yes. Thank you for the quick question, this heart of mine. And again, if you have any questions that you would like to ask us, just send it to our email, the other half of it, podcast@gmail.com. And also, if you're watching on YouTube, you can leave a comment, a question that you'd like to eventually get answered. We're going to choose one for a video, and we might choose your question. So definitely send that to us. All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the episode today. We're going to be uploading an episode a week, so be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're consuming on YouTube. And also, you can subscribe anywhere you get your podcasts. Also, if you have any questions for us, or you want to just say hello via email, you can email us at theotherhalfofitpodcast@gmail.com. We're going to see you guys in the next video next week. And that was The Other Half of It. Peace.